Welcome everybody. Today here we're chatting about the New Zealand hidden market and what that means, and also how you can use this to your advantage. We are COAR Consultants. COAR stands for Change Through Ownership, Accountability and Responsibility. And I always say, don't leave your future or your migration sort of hopes in somebody else's hands. You must take charge of your own migration. Let me introduce myself first. I'm Peter Lemmer. I'm an ex-South African. I've been for nearly 10 years now. In 2 months' time, it's 10 years in New Zealand. I'm a qualified engineer and I have a commercial degree as well. And my whole career, I've done mainly in manufacturing. So I've worked right through the whole sectors, right down from, I started in coal mines actually in my career and worked myself all the way up, right up to managing director level. So I know nearly every job in the field, from IT through to finance, through to quality, manufacturing. I'm an engineer by background, so I have a very good technical knowledge. And why do I do what I do? I love helping people. I love seeing people succeed and grow and develop. And that's why I do this job. I also came across, I think 10 years ago, to start a business in job search coaching here in New Zealand for an immigration company. So I've been doing this for over 10 years and I've helped, I think, over 1,000 families move across to New Zealand from all around the world.
That's great.
So what is the hidden job market? The hidden job market are where jobs are filled without being advertised. Now, the statistics say that, and this is not just from me, this is from international hiring companies like Hayes. I've seen articles from Tribe Recruitment, which is a large recruitment company here in New Zealand. I've seen a lot of, even on the internet, if you go and just Google it, they say that 80% of jobs are filled through the hidden market and not through advertised jobs. Now, hidden market jobs are internal hiring, sort of jobs, referrals, recommendations, or direct connections, where somebody knows somebody, introduces somebody, and that word of mouth referral is what gets you the job. In many large countries, job boards or your hiring platforms is where you'll get a job. You apply, you get shortlisted, you go through the process, and you get a job. And there's no real sort of other way to do it because companies are so big. The hiring process doesn't make really a big difference in the success of the company because it's such a large business. But in New Zealand, that's only one part of the system. And often it's more, it's the most competitive market here to get a job. How a job filled in New Zealand and even Australia and other smaller countries. And they are filled through referrals, connections, and recommendations from people within the company or from outsiders or friends or somebody that they know. And I think a big thing you need to understand of the New Zealand job market is that 64% of the number of businesses in New Zealand are one-man businesses. So those are your trades, electricians, plumbers, small businesses, and it's a small business economy. 32% of businesses in New Zealand have 2 to 20 employees, and then only 4% have more than 20 employees. Now we have about 650,000 businesses in New Zealand. That means that only 22,000 businesses have more than 20 employees. So it's a small business market, and you'll most probably be interviewed by the owner of the business or the manager of the business who's in charge and in control. And it's a small, close-knit sort of business environment, and many companies are really just small to medium businesses. And the whole process is, the need arises, they look internally or they look at a referral, the candidate is reviewed, they make a job offer, and there's never an advert going out. But as a migrant, if you network your way into a job, they will create an advert that you are the person who's going to be hired. So even if there's adverts out there which you're applying for, and there are international adverts sometimes looking for international candidates, sometimes they already have met somebody and know of somebody who they want to hire. An advert is tailored around that person's qualifications, that person's experience and skills. And yeah, that is, you're trying. That's why you get so many sort of negative returns on jobs applied for. Why does New Zealand work this way? I think it's a small market and it's trust-based hiring, and it all depends on relationships. It depends on reputation. It's about word of mouth, and it's about interaction with people, getting to know people, getting to know the market, getting to know people within the market. And this reduces risk, it saves time, and it creates a sense of confidence in the hiring decision that they're going to make. And this is where many migrants unintentionally struggle, I find, because of this trust-based hiring. When you're applying for a job with a CV just in front of them, there is no relationship, there is no knowledge of who this person is, there's no recognition of the name itself on the CV. And this is what you need to do, is to start getting yourself noticed and getting local knowledge, and to understand how the jobs are filled. The biggest problem with online applying is that you're competing with every single other person in the job market and in the world, of course. Everybody is just scrolling job markets these days. The world economy is tight and it's down. And you're only accessing a small portion of, as we showed, 20% of the job markets. And then there's so much competition for those 20%. These days also, I've spoken to a lot of recruiters, and they're saying that they used to have, let's say, 30, 40 applications for a role. They're now getting 300, 400 applications for a role. And I think also if you carry on applying and getting rejected, what happens is it demoralizes you. You just think, oh, just not another rejection, not another rejection. You need to find a method to make it a positive process and to feel that you are getting somewhere, at least, that you're progressing, that you're learning, and that you are, that this is possible for it to happen. And what does networking really mean? It means about building relationship and not asking for jobs. And it's about being visible. It's about showing interest. It's about giving value to the people in the industry. And it's also creating opportunities for you to talk to people, to network, to meet other people. Now, 15, 20 years ago, you'd have to go to functions, as I'm showing here in the diagram, and meet people and hand out business cards, and it would cost a lot of money. These days, you can sit behind your armchair watching TV still and network with people via LinkedIn and via the tools these days that we have. And it's not about asking for jobs. It's about building genuine professional connections over time. And it's not an instant fix. You ain't going to get a job in 2 weeks' time. It's about building relationships, having discussions, and about learning about the industry. It's also about showing your knowledge in the industry. It's about marketing and branding yourself as well, and about getting out there and showing people what your value add is and what your worth is. And building these professional relationships also gives you credibility in the market. You have to have a mindset shift. You've got to go from applying for jobs just every day to connecting and networking with people. And I think you do both in parallel. It's about applying for jobs, but applying for them strategically and having a strategy in mind. So most migrants, I find, just cannot resist just applying for jobs the whole time. You think you are going to get a job if you apply for a job, but it actually becomes incredibly negative process and an incredibly demoralizing process. But the more effective process in New Zealand is about connecting and engaging with people. And instead of only focusing on job applications, you start focusing on building relationships, improving your visibility, and positioning yourself in spaces where these opportunities will naturally come to you. I've had clients of mine who have been, while I'm still training them, they get noticed, and the managing director of the company approaches them and says, wow, I'd like to chat to you, because they are visible in the market. And of course, this doesn't happen overnight. This is not as I said in the previous, a few minutes ago, a 2-week solution. This is about building sustained relationship, and it takes effort every day, connecting with people, networking with people. And it helps you stand out from the crowd. It helps you build trust and credibility in the industry for yourself. And also when employers go look at your CV, and if you've got your CV, and one thing that people don't understand is that LinkedIn is very strong here in New Zealand. It's a business tool. It's not a job hiring tool or a job pool tool. It's all about they use it here as the Facebook of business. You learn. There's so much training to be done on it. There's so much learning to be done on it. People are on it every day, and it's a normal part of your job. And that's the one thing that people miss, is that it's not sort of taboo here in that you're finding a job. It's about you doing your job by being on LinkedIn in New Zealand. And when you apply, they go look at your LinkedIn profile and see how involved are you. Are you what I call the PEAT principle? Are you professional? PEAT is P-E-E-A-T. Are you professional? Do you have the experience your CV says? Are you an expert in your field? Are you authority in your field? The A, and then the T is, can you be trusted? And the trustedness is that does your CV say what your LinkedIn profile says, and what you are how you're marketing and branding yourself on LinkedIn. And your focus shouldn't be on job applications. It should be on building relationships, improving your visibility, and positioning yourself in spaces where opportunities will come to you. When you get this mind shift, when you actually physically take this mind shift to say, right, I'm not going to just only apply for jobs, you become more visible, you start having more conversations, and you're starting to create more opportunities for yourself. And building professional connections takes time. The whole thing about this is that as soon as you start shifting your approach, you'll begin to notice all these small changes. With these conversations you're having, you're going to start getting more responses from people, more opportunities opening up in ways that you actually never ever expected. And also what happens when you make this shift is that you become knowledgeable in the industry in the country where you want to migrate to. You get to know the market dynamics. You start understanding who the competitors are in the market and the industry in that country. You speak to people also who have migrated, so you get so many people to help give you tips and say, oh no, I know this guy or I know this person. You get to understand the culture in the country as well, and that's a big thing that you need to understand, is the difference in culture between here in a small business, small country mindset versus a large country where you come from. I come from South Africa, which is a large country, and totally different mindset and culture, and you need to really adapt and understand that culture before you go for an interview. And when you go to an interview, if you can speak with confidence in an interview, that is where you're going to get your job offers. If you don't speak with confidence, if you don't know the company, you don't know the market, they're going to sort of say, well, this is a risky hire. You want them to say, that you tick all the boxes and say, yes, this person is a good hire. I think the key takeaway that I have today and in this presentation is that the real job market isn't online, as in job boards applying for jobs. If you're applying online, you're not doing anything wrong. You have to apply for a job because there has to be an advert. If you want to get a visa, you need to have prove that there's no other person in the country that can do the job that who's wanting to do a job that you are. So there has to be an advert, and you have to sort of run in parallel with building relationships and applying for jobs. So the real opportunity in New Zealand lies in connections you build, the conversations you have, and the visibility you create for yourself. Now, this is what COAR Consultants do. We have three modules which we run, in which the first module is CV writing, where we help you build a good value-adding CV. We then have the second module where we teach you to network via LinkedIn and how to market and brand yourself on LinkedIn. And then the third module we run is that we have a interview coaching module where we teach you how to get your value add across in the interview. And if you want to, you can book a free 20-minute consultation with me just to understand how these three modules work and how I can assist you. And yeah, just finally, before we have questions, thanks for joining our workshop today.